All right, welcome back. Welcome back to season two, episode 5.
Yep.
Okay, yeah,
We're
we are
here.
here. We are so excited. I'm very
I
excited.
know. She's excited.
I am ecstatic. To have a really special guest on today. But first, Tiffany, you want to do the honors of letting us know?
So please, before you do anything, go like, subscribe, click right here, right below on your screen. Go ahead and do it. Follow us on Instagram at Please Hold Podcast. And you can find us anywhere. We're on TikTok. We're still struggling, but we're working. We're getting there. And YouTube. And yeah, we're about to hit you guys with another episode.
All right. So welcome back to Please Hold, where it's a podcast about two sisters tackling the underappreciated world of CS. And today I've got a really great introduction. Okay. So today we're really honored to have a true powerhouse in the music industry gracing our mic. So our guest today is not just a CEO. He is a mastermind behind some of the biggest chart-topping hits in the industry, from shaping the sounds of Lizzo to the beats of Beyonce, Ciara, Rihanna, Usher, Future, Miley Cyrus, Adam Levine, Chloe, Big Lotto, Saweetie, and many more. And he's truly a maestro in the realm of music. He's not just a leader, he's a pioneer in the new school of entertainment executives, embodying the very culture that has shaped the music industry today. Undoubtedly, he stands as one of the best and most accomplished music executives, the most requested A&R, and a guiding force for emerging talent. He just got named as an official member of the XXL Awards Board, having held pivotal roles at Universal, Interscope, Motown, and most recently Epic Records. He brings a wealth of experience to the table. He's not just a behind-the-scenes wizard. He's a creative coach, a motivational speaker, and a father. And if that's not enough, he is the dynamic host of the Gods Show podcast, which has over 60,000 subscribers within just 1 year, which is really, really phenomenal. So please join me in welcoming the extraordinary CEO and founder of Radar Management, the maestro of melodies, the industry icon, and the culture referee, Ray Daniels.
Thank you so much. I'm like sitting here like being very bashful. I'm like, I can't believe, like, it's a couple of things that was off. That's the older bio, but no, it's okay though. But it was you reading it, so I loved it. Let's go.
Oh, see, all right. I get some kind of like brownie points,
Right?
right?
Kudos. Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So, I am super excited to have you here because we saw a clip that you had posted, that you had on one of your episodes, and you were talking about customer service, and I was like, we got to get Ray on here. And of course, we're all things CS related. And so you were just talking about how bad customer service is here in Atlanta. But we're not going to talk about that today. You are known for being very unapologetic and straightforward, direct. And so today's episode, we are talking about the art of delivering feedback.
Oh, this is a great episode for me. Let's go.
I know.
Were you a little nervous? Just a little nervous?
Nah, it's y'all family. I don't care if y'all want whatever y'all want to talk about. I was gonna do it because it's y'all.
Well, good. Well,
by the way, make sure everybody know y'all family. That's why I'm here, because I don't want. There's a few people in this city that have been hitting me for 9 months, 10 months to come, and I'm like, I'll do it when I'm ready. And now they're gonna be like, what the?
Don't be jealous, y'all.
This is actually family.
Yes.
20 years almost of relationships at this, so it's different, way different.
Yes. So
let's go.
Okay. Well, as I was saying, you're known for being direct and unapologetic when it comes to speaking your mind. In your positions of leadership, how do you think that that has benefited you?
I think it's the reason why I'm here. Tehran has a famous a famous story he tells, where the first day I met him, I told him I didn't like his music. And that's true. The first day when you pour and you come from nothing, you don't have time to focus on feelings. And I think that that's something that our community needs to learn. Sometimes we want to feel good about the news and how it was delivered. And when you're trying to win, if I suck, just tell me I suck. Don't sugarcoat it, because I'm going to go out here again and I'm going to get embarrassed. So right. I always tell talent, I'm like, if you need those truth tellers around you, because that's what the audience sees. So me being a truth teller, just my way of seeing something, saying, oh, Tiff, I think they'll like you better if your hair was longer than the short hair, because that's just me seeing it I'm a super consumer at the end of the day. Like, I spend hundreds of $1,000s a year on nothing. And when I do it, it's always a good feeling because it was some reason why I bought into it. It was a story. It was something that dragged me into it. And that's what makes me, or it could be something unique about it. And I like spending money, and I love spending money with us. And I just feel like we think we don't trust us, but that's not really what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just so comfortable with each other, we forget that we need each other to also have that relationship. Yeah. So for me, I just do my best to serve as much honesty and truth to anybody I encounter, because I feel like as a human, we owe each other that. Like, don't know I'm about to go get clowned and laugh. But I think people are afraid to tell the truth because they're afraid to stand on it if they're wrong. But the way I tell the truth is that's just today. So I might say, Ash, you're doing something. You got to stop doing that if you want to win. You stop doing that, then you win. You're not mad at me.
No.
That's what I'm saying. But if you don't stop doing it, I know you're not going to win anyway. So it's like, okay, I told you to stop doing it. Yeah. And you didn't listen. So, okay, well, I guess you want to win your way. It's two types of winners. The one that wants to win their way and the one that wants to win. I just want to win. I don't care who, if it's Tiff, if it's you, I don't care if it's Nick, I don't care who it is. If somebody come with a play for us to win, I want to hear it. I'm not that guy. I got too many mouths I feed to have ego.
Yeah. How do you like to have those tough conversations though? Like if you have an artist and they're like, maybe if like they're just, maybe they don't really have talent.
Yeah.
And like, how do you have that tough conversation with somebody? And they're like,
it's easy.
You don't have the skills.
My style is the mirror effect. Like anybody I work with, my style is the mirror effect. So instead of coming to you saying, Ash, I'll say, what do you like about, we're in a podcast, I might say, what do you like about Angela Yee? What does she do that you like so much? And then I'm like, do you think you're doing that? Mm-hmm. Because you just told me what you like that someone else doing and you're not doing it. Or like, so I use the mirror effect to teach. I don't tell you what I see. I tell you what, I ask you what you see, because a lot of it's perspective. It's just perspective. So like I told you guys why I wear shades. Mm-hmm. I hate wearing shades. Now it's kind of like, it's crazy because I only wear them everywhere I go now because I was going out places and people were like, I didn't recognize you without the shades. I'm like, damn, it's become the part of the brand that I can't get away from. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't tell you to hurt you. Mm. I don't say your breath stinks out loud so you can get embarrassed. I don't do that. If I smell your breath and it stink, I might just, if I know you, I might be like, boom. If I don't know you, I might put one in my mouth and then be like, hey, would you want one?
Right.
If you don't want one, then hey, at least I tried. That was my way of helping. I tried. So
your breath is still gonna stink.
I'm still gonna help, but you have to allow people to be comfortable with telling you the truth. And I think a lot of us don't understand that. Like you have to be okay with, like, I'll walk in a room and say, I have no ego. Tell me what you want to tell me. Mm. And to me, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with people telling you the real. Like my producer, I got a new producer on my show. He sent me a long message and he was like, he basically said, you stumbled on this part. That can't happen again. And then he sent me a message saying, oh, with love. And I responded back to him saying, you don't have to say that with love. Mm. I know you're talking to me with love because you're on my team. And if you felt the need to tell me, if you corrected me and I felt the need to correct you back, I just told you, I don't want your help.
Right.
I just want you to do what I say. And I don't want that. I like collaboration. I want us to own the win.
Mm. So I think we touched on this a little bit right before we started. You had mentioned that, us as a culture, we have a really hard time of being able to accept feedback. And you don't see that in other cultures as much as you see it in ours. Like, why do you think that's obviously we know that hinders us and it holds us back a lot from a lot of opportunities because our ego gets in the way. But why do you think it's as a whole, as a culture? And I'm not going to say that's for everybody.
No, go ahead. I got you.
But it's
but you know what it is though? That is another problem, right? That we know what you're talking about. But you already know as you speaking, somebody gonna find a way to find something wrong with what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's the problem. And to me, that's how I work. Like if I have to worry about you having a problem about what I'm saying, you're not my audience. Mm. My audience wouldn't have a problem. That my audience comes to me for truth telling. So if you have a problem me telling your truth, then you're not a fan of what I do. So you shouldn't have to do that. But to answer your question, I believe that, and I just said this yesterday, 2 days ago on my show. I believe that we have to start giving grace to our people, right? We always talk about black people and how they are, 50-50 on the bills, or how they're doing all of this stuff and everything else. And people be like, no other race deals with this but black people. Well, white people probably dealt with it in the 40s,
Right.
in the 50s. You know what I mean? Like other cultures dealt with it when it was their time. Black people, like I say, my mother was alive when Martin Luther King was murdered, which means my mother was alive when we were segregated. I'm one generation removed from my mother, right? So my mother didn't come up in a time where they were speaking about generational wealth, how to better our culture. They was just trying to survive. So now we already know what happened in the 70s with black men and them not being around. And we already know what happened with eventually in the 80s with the drugs and the crack and whatever. And then in the 90s, and the 90s is kind of where the men that are running today's world came in, like, and those men are changing the narrative, right? But we gotta, when we talk about it, people always say, why are we talking about this? Because black people have it. And we have to. And how do we get better if we don't talk to each other? So I'm that's why I said you shouldn't have to say that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you two young ladies started this podcast to fuck the world up. Am I right or wrong?
No, I want to make
Boom.
it better.
So if you two guys started this with good intent,
Right.
then I'm gonna have to hear what you have to say. I'll give you a good example. We all eat. Y'all eat meat?
Yes.
We all eat meat. Y'all eat meat? Okay, cool. We all eat meat, right? Okay, cool. Animals have to get killed for us to eat that.
Right.
That's an ugly part of us, a beautiful dinner. That's the ugly part of everything beautiful has to go through something ugly. It's a part, it's a part of what we do. And I just think our time, our generation, and this is also the first time, not to like ramble, this is also the first time that our kids and us are listening to the same thing. When y'all was kids, did y'all listen to the same music as your mom and dad, as your parents?
Some oldies. I mean,
No, you listen to what they listen to.
Right.
But I'm saying when you had your option, did you play what they played?
No.
That's my point. Today is the first time in history that my kids are playing the Drake album. My 15-year-old son is playing the Drake album in real time like me.
that's a
So,
good point.
so it's the first. So that's why it's the first time that we're all together, right? Like that's hip hop is almost our dinner table, right? How white people would sit around and watch the news. Black people, it was hip hop for us. It was our culture. So we just hitting this place where I think we're hitting this beautiful sweet spot. And you got a lot of people that's uncomfortable with the people talking, but it's like, well, then you should talk then. And if you're not going to talk, then don't get mad at me for talking. Because podcast equipment is so exclusively sold
Right.
to people who are in the podcast community, and you have to have a license.
Yeah.
Anybody can buy podcast equipment, which means anybody can do it, which means everybody should at least try once in a while. Even if your podcast is talking about for everybody in this neighborhood, who cares?
Yeah.
It's like a school principal getting on the mic saying, hey guys, let me tell you what's happening at the school. Tiffany is on the honor roll and we have Ash about to go. It's like, bro, that's what community is. And the world we living in, we get to choose the pockets of community we want to be in. Like, it's not like when Michael Jackson premiered his video for Black and White, he premiered it on NBC at 8 p.m. Nigga, it was only 13 channels to watch. Everybody watched Michael Jackson's video. Now, everything we do is on demand. Like, nobody's rushing home to watch their favorite TV show. No. Only thing we watch in real time is sports, right? So because we know that, it's a great time to put something on the table and say, maybe 10 people, 50 people, 100 people like this.
Right.
Because if you get 100 people to spend $1,000, you just made 6 figures that year, right? So we be so focused on like the bigness of it all when we don't realize that everybody has a chance, and the only ones that are doing it are the ones that's working. So I would say, get off your ass and try, or don't talk about what I'm talking about.
Right. All right. Well, second question. In 2020, you wrote Dear White Music Executives, which talked about racial injustice and tension at record companies. When you wrote it, it was published anonymously, right?
Yes.
Why are you
It was
smiling like that?
anonymous.
Because that letter is the reason why everything happening in my life is happening.
So you later revealed that you wrote the letter. Did you ever I mean, like, and now knowing you, probably in like now hindsight, you probably didn't give a fuck. But,
Well,
but did you worry about any backlash? Just you being in that position that you were in.
I just want to tell you, I thank you for that, bringing that up. And it wasn't that I didn't give a fuck. I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, it's weird how people react to the truth. And if anybody read that letter, you can tell that there was no intent to harm another race in that letter.
Right.
It was just speaking about facts. White people, I mean, every black person that enters the music business has been told, like I was told separately, that you have to work twice as hard to get half as much as your counterparts. We all are taught that. That's nothing that no white people tell us that. Black people tell us that. So this is almost like, I'm almost giving you like black secrets. Like,
Right.
this is what we go through as black people. You guys can come in our world and play. Every black man that's in power is backed up by a white man. Like, we don't really. So with that being said, we're not going to fuck up our opportunities by talking about George Floyd. That's what the letter really was about. It was like, we did a call with Warner, and Aaron, the CEO, gets on the call and he says, it was an emergency call, guys. And he got on the call and he says, so I'm thinking like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking like one of our artists got murdered. Cause it was just like, in the music business, they don't say company wide, get on the call in 10 minutes.
Right. Right. It's like
Company wide, like, you didn't ask what none of us got going on. That mean everything you about to talk about is way more important. And then we get on the call and they're talking about George Floyd. And I'm like, what? Cause as a black person, I guess we weren't shocked.
Yeah.
Right? It was like another day,
Well, yeah,
another
like, we've seen
police
it-
killing. We've seen this since Rodney King. That's the earliest I can remember. So with that being said, it was just weird where it was like, oh, well, he must not know. So he says on the call, and to all the black employees, and mind you, it's about 160 people on the call, on Zoom, by the way, not in person, which is even scarier to speak up. Because now you're speaking up and everybody's looking at you. And like, so for me, he says, all the black people, if you have any problems, like, we're here, talk to us. And he said, anybody want to say something? And nobody said nothing. And I just was like, damn, bro, you don't know why they're not saying nothing?
Of course.
Oh, you don't know. So I wrote him a letter. Like, because I wanted, it was, the letter wasn't supposed to go public. It was supposed to go private. It was supposed to be just for Aaron and Tom. But what happened was that I sent the letter to it was only 2 black people who had a higher title than me at the entire company. So of course I'm about to send Aaron and Tom this letter.
Right.
I send it to these 2 black people. And one of them, who's still there, he basically ripped me apart and was like, why are you talking about the black struggle of being a black executive when they're talking about George Floyd? And I was like, well, it's kind of all the same.
Right.
It's George Floyd is the worst part of it, and they watched it. But I was just trying to tell you why you're not going to get feedback from the black employees. And he ripped it apart. He was like, no. And he kept saying, we're investing in black employees, so this letter is a waste of time. So anyway, I sent it to a couple of friends because I'm an emotional guy. And I couldn't sleep. I wrote it like 3 a.m. So I couldn't sleep after they finally sent me feedback. So I sent it to a couple of friends, like, yo, like, because it was like, he made me feel like I was a criminal.
Now you're like second guessing
Like,
yourself.
so I'm like, yo, is this? So I sent it to like 3 or 4 friends, like, yo, can you? And 2 of them was white, by the way. And they all came back and was like, it's incredible. Only one person was like, keep your name out of it because I'm afraid what they're going to do to you. And by the way, this is probably the richest guy I know personally. Dang. And he loves black people, love black music. And he was like, yo, be careful. So I was like, so I put the letter out and then it goes crazy. And then people are like, I see everybody posting it. But if you were black, what I also did was I hit every black person that I knew in power saying, yo, I got a letter coming out. I want you to read it first. Tell me and they was all like, yes, put that out. So when it got put out, and then it was going crazy, and I have a lawyer. So this lawyer looks for me, and she's like, this lawyer named Dina LaPoe, and she's like, Ray, I spoke to 10 black people today, and she's a white woman, Jewish white woman with black kids, by the way. She says, Ray, I spoke to 10 of my friends today, and they all said that this letter changed their life. Because what happened was black people would hit me saying, thank you. And then a couple of black people would hit me saying, yo, white people trying to figure out who it is, what you want to do. And I was like, let them keep figuring out. And then this particular, she said, she's a lawyer. She wants to rep me. She wants to help me. And I was like, okay, I didn't know I needed help, but okay. And she said, but you have to stand on it. So here's the real problem. The real problem is that I live in Atlanta. And in Atlanta, we're not afraid of white people here.
No. Yeah.
Like in Atlanta, you can make $1 million and never have to run into a white person. Right. And I was at the club the other night. The mayor's in there. Ray, Killer Mike is in his section. Shanti Das in his section. Then here comes Usher. Like Atlanta's a place where we as black people are kings and queens and princess and princesses and whatever else role you want to do. So when I see so I don't interact with white people from a fearful position. So when they was like, you should stand on it, I'm like, okay, what they gonna do to me?
Of course you're gonna stand on
Of course I didn't want the editor-in-chief of Billboarders who asked me to do it autonomously. She said, Hannah Karp, love Hannah. She said, Ray, as a white woman, I can relate to this, but I don't want to put your name on it because I'm afraid for you. And I'm like, what the fuck is everybody so afraid of? I did not lie. I did not. If I lied, if I said somebody's name, if I accused somebody, I'd be afraid. But all I said was, here's what the black experience looks like. Mm-hmm. And then they Jerry Maguire'd me. Now Ray is on our side, blah, blah, blah. And me being naive, I'm thinking like, okay. And then it was when my Warner contract ended, and how that ended, that was like, oh, y'all had it out for me. I didn't even know that. So you could tell it was that. So when I came back, so the way Warner basically told me for 9 months straight, and my lawyer, Dina, who represents me now, Ray is our guy. Don't shop him. He's going to work here.
Right.
We don't want you, because, sometimes they'll shop you or you getting hot. Because I was hot. Shop you. And they was like, don't shop Ray. We want him here. Okay. And then like a month before the contract, I was waiting for a new deal. They was like, you know what? We don't want Ray as an employee. We think he's better as an entrepreneur. So we want to give him a label deal and a consultant deal. So I was like, oh, okay. And then it was 3 days before my contract ended, while I'm waiting for this deal, that they hit me, some other people hit me and say, we're not going to renew your contract. What? So you got to remember, I got 3 days in this business. When you're not about to get your contract renewed, they give you 6 months as a courtesy. Like, yo, Tiff, it's not working out. We got 6 months on your deal. Go find some other opportunity. We paying you for the next 6 months. And then they didn't do that for me. They waited till 3 days. Before they called me. My contract ended January 14th. They called me January 11th. And was like, yeah, no new contract is coming. So it was one of those things where it was like, it's kind of like breaking up with someone publicly in a way where it's like, he had to cheat.
Yeah.
He had to do something. Why would they do him like that? I knew that. So I knew that anybody who I called about working was going to ask me what happened, because people were inquiring about me. And I was like, I'm not leaving Warner. So now I got to call you and say, I'm not with Warner no more. You got a job for me? Fuck that. I'm too smart for that. So what I did was I came back. I told my team, put a camera on me. I'm going to talk, because everybody's on social media. Everybody has their phone in their hand. And if people in the industry see me talking, that's how I'll get back on the radar. So I only started the podcast with the hopes that someone in the music industry would see me and say, damn, Ray is smart. Give him a job. But it was like the best way to describe it was, I got a bullhorn and I'm outside all three of the buildings like, I'm going to tell you what I know. And then I look back and it's fucking 7 million people behind me. Like, we like your message. So then it was like, I had to kind of like turn around to them like, oh, damn. So I feel more powerful and more better about myself today than ever, because anybody that gives me love is giving me love because of me, not because of who I work for, which can be taken from me at any given moment. So is the love real? If you love me today and then if I get fired tomorrow and you don't call me tomorrow, then was that real love? No. So that's the best thing that happened to me. And I came back to Atlanta and I built my shit from scratch. And my Jerry Maguire moment was, my guy won Songwriter of the Year this year at the Grammys. And last year we won Record of the Year.
I know. Congratulations.
I know,
on
congrats.
That.
But that was my moment, because it was kind of like the whole industry knew what happened.
Right.
But it was still like, don't touch him yet. Then it was kind of like, he's giving away our secrets.
Did you ever feel like people, like when it came out, that some people just didn't want to like closely associate like themselves, like
with the letter or the podcast?
With the letter, like they were like
the letter,
like he put that out. I'm gonna kind of say,
yeah, but the letter was weird to me, because the letter was received, like I said, it was Jerry Maguire. You walk in the room and I'm kind of like, are y'all straight with what I said? And they applauded me. And then here's the one thing I will say that I learned, and this is something that I'll give the black people, because when I wrote the letter, all black people was calling me, was telling me, yo, man, thank you. Like there was people who I haven't talked to in 10 years that found my number just to say thank you. But white people were telling me, get what you want. Go get you what you want. And I thought that as a black man, I thought that was kind of counterproductive because my white friends are saying, man, get what you want. So when the letter comes out, Tom and Aaron do a call with me. And they're saying to me, what do you want? What do you want? And I could have said, I want a label deal. I wanted this. I want that. And they would have gave it to me. But I didn't because I don't want to gain by using other people's story. I just didn't like the way I felt. Like, don't give me a label because I said that. But also, if you gave me a label and you felt this way, you was going to just give me power and kill me anyway.
Right. They're going to take you out.
They're going to take me out anyway. So it was like, so I'm glad I didn't because all I would have done is sat there, collected a check and not been able to do nothing. Because another thing people don't know is that you can't do a podcast. You can't do nothing. I can't write a book. I can't do nothing when I'm an employee of a label. They technically own all my IP. They technically own all my IP. So if I started this show when I was at Warner, they could technically say, this is our show. You started it without our permission. They could take it from me. So it was just one of those things where it was like, I'm just glad it played out the way it did. I'm glad you brought up the letter. And because at one point in time, it bothered me so much because I'm really good at my job. And I just didn't want to not have a job because I spoke up. But God had different plans for me. And the crazy part is that, what's the name of my show? The God Show.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. It was like God was there the whole time and I didn't even know it. I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do in my life because I felt blackballed.
Right.
And they was fucking with me because I still got dope talent, but they wasn't fucking with me. It was like, I was like in the corner. Ray, want to talk to you. Hey, I run up thinking they going to call me in the game. What's up, man? What's up? What you need? Tehran, we need him to do 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. No problem. You know, you could have called me over there. I would have stayed over. You could have just called me.
Right.
So I stopped trying to be friends with people in the game. I stopped acting like I was in the music business. Like, I don't feel like I'm in the music business right now. Like, I really don't. And this is the freest I've ever been.
So would you say that you feel like you're in the podcast world, or like do you kind of feel like you've created this like?
Okay. So I'm glad you said that. So I just did an interview with Billboard recently, and the guy who I was interviewing, a good friend of mine, he was like, "Man, you know, you're doing so great with this new media thing you're doing. I'm in media, and we're trying to figure it out." So I'm like, "Damn, you're in media, and y'all trying to figure it out?" And then, you know, the music business, they trying to figure it out. So I think that I can honestly say that I'm in the top 5% in both worlds, media and music. And they both the same to me. But it's weird that everybody sees it as different.
Yeah.
Media and music should start looking at themselves as mass media companies. Because mass media is nothing but speaking to a large amount of people. They only want to focus on the music, which is weird because there's not a shortage of music coming out. Like, you usually focus on what you don't have. Or because what you don't have, that's what you can usually use to get more. You know what I mean? It's like, so they're not even focusing on music. They're not focusing on mass media. Like, if I'm a music label, I want to own 3 or 4 podcast companies. We are curators. We are the talkers of the world. If I'm a label, I'm like, here go a check. Talk about us.
Yeah.
They don't think like that though. But that's why the game is so messed up, because you don't have smart people leading. You have people who started in the music business leading, and then the big people usually be like people from like the guy that runs Warner now is from YouTube. That makes sense. But they should make a YouTube guy the head of A&R.
Right.
But they don't. The music business, it's
don't
weird,
think like
man.
that.
They don't think like that. And I know why. It's because we are the easiest and most low vibrational business to be in. Shit, nigga, if you see a nigga looking like a drug dealer, there's only one other thing he could be if he's not a drug dealer. It ain't lawyer, right? It's probably a rapper or the CEO of a rapper or rap, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's the easiest adjacent thing to do compared to the other low vibrational things to do. You know what I mean? Like, you can hang on a corner. Hanging on a corner is lame. But if I'm hanging on a corner and I do a freestyle about hanging on a corner, now it's cool.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I just think that I really feel like I'm one of the smartest people in the world. And I feel like that most of us, and it's not because of books. It's just because the one thing that I do, I've always watched people. Always. I'm a people watcher. Like, I watch what makes people react. I watch what makes people not react. And like I said, I'm a super consumer.
Yeah.
And that's all I brought to music, podcast, everything. Like, I was like, I know how to blow a podcast up, and I did it. I'm top 50 in the world.
Yeah, you
out
are
of
really
like
good at it.
550,000 pods. Like I'm top 50. Like how did I do that? Because I know what to do to win. It's so easy to win. Just do what you would like. You know, you go on your phone right now and look at all the stuff that you send to your sister, your BFFs, your friends. Y'all send stuff to each other all day, right or
All
wrong?
day long.
It's like,
Dog, I got like it's like I get 50 DMs a day from people in my friends and my close circle sending me random stuff online. So I was like, I'm gonna be that person then. I'm gonna say something that they're gonna send, and that was the only thing I focused on. So when I put out my first few videos, I was getting like 1,300 shares. I don't even care about likes. I'd rather see the shares because the shares meant that I said something that made you. That's the word
Share
of
it.
mouth
It
marketing.
meant something to
Yeah,
them.
it meant something to them. So for me, I don't focus on likes. I focus on shares. I didn't even know that the pod was ranked until somebody asked me to register with a site, and because I was like, I'm not ranked. Like, why would I do that? Like, I'm not going to be Joe Rogan and them. And I did it, and then all of a sudden I was ranked. I'm like, damn.
Just something right.
Damn, okay. So I mean, but it was kind of like I knew all I was telling the person to do was what I would tell. All I did was what I told every artist I work with to do. Like,
I don't think it's just that though. Like you have like this overwhelmingly like bigger than life personality. If you were this timid individual, like, you know, not saying that you're not
like
humble.
Bobby,
Like who?
like the girl Bobby Alathor.
Oh yeah,
That's my point. If whatever you are, you can make it work. If you are awkward, be the awkward podcaster. If you are my person, Tiff, you've been how about? Am I shocking you? Don't I act like this every room whether the camera's on or not?
No, I told her, I was like, I've never seen Ray. Like,
Not be Ray.
Not be Ray.
That's my
always.
point. So that's why it works. I'm just being myself. If you're awkward, be your awkward self. Funny Marco, he does awkward interviews. Like it's the same shit. It's just we be looking at what other people doing and we don't think that we can do it. And that's what really it is. And that's where hate comes from. Hate comes from not trying and not even attempting to try. And then get mad that someone else tried it and they won at it. That's why you're a hater. That's why I'm not a hater, because I tried and won at what I wanted to win at.
But you weren't, it didn't seem like you were even worried about it. Like you just went on, started your show and like, I'm going to be me and I'm going to say what I want to say and how I want to say it. And either you're going to like it or you don't. Like, and like you said, either you're my audience or you're not.
I cried every night. Don't lie. I swear to God, every night I rolled home crying because I couldn't believe that this is what my life was. I'm really good at this shit. Like I'm really good at this music shit. Like I'm better than 98.5% of the people that do it. Is no doubt. And it's like I just couldn't believe that they would pick who made them comfortable over who actually can help.
Right.
And when that happened, it was kind of like, it was just like, so I mean, every night I cried every night. I couldn't believe that this was my life. And then, you know, but the one thing I'm gonna do, like I didn't say I cried every morning, did I? I said I cried every night. Because I knew the next morning I'm gonna wake up with a positive attitude and I'm gonna go at the day. And then some days I will go home and I'll be like, damn, like, because you know, you start realizing how hard this shit is. Like, it's hard to be on the outside. And where I'm at now, how best way to describe me is that I lived across the street in the woods, and everybody else lived in the house. And I had to put a knife in my mouth, and I had to learn how to hunt. I had to learn how to kill. I had to learn how to do everything over again, but with the whole family to feed now. Like, it's easy when you by yourself.
Right.
But when you got, my overhead is about $30,000 a month before I even get out of bed. So when you got that much overhead, you can't afford. And I'm not gonna tell my kids they can't have. So I hustled like nobody was watching, and the only person who knew was me and God. So I would listen to certain music at home and drive home at night, and I would just tear up every night, like, damn. But it was like, it's a song on Kanye's Donda album called 24, where he says, God's not finished. And the song is like, just keep trying. God's not finished. And every night I would just cry because I'm like, all right, just keep trying. And the hardest part was acting like I was okay.
Yeah.
But the reality was I was okay. I just, in my head,
different.
I told myself something else. So now I went to Grammys this week, and you know, a lot of people about to get fired. A lot of people. And it was the first time I was in LA and everybody was worried. You could just feel the worry in people's eyes. But that's because they have those LA rents or mortgages. They have those LA car notes. They have that LA lifestyle where it's $20 to park at the restaurant. Not even to eat. Like it's $20 to park, not including the tip. $70 to park your car in a hotel. Like, it's so expensive. So those guys have these expensive LA lifestyles, and now they know that the money about to stop. And now everybody's fucking scared. And here I am like, man, I got a knife in my mouth. Like, I got a knife in my back pocket. Like, y'all straight? I'm good. Like, and they're like, no. And I'm like, what? And then now I don't even care to go inside because the people inside gonna all have to be put out because they weren't good at their job.
But you stepped out on with your faith and like wrote your letter, not expecting to land where you are today.
No.
And which is the most amazing thing. Because when you, like you said, you gave that analogy, you stood up and while you were yelling at people and saying, trying to tell them about us or tell them about themselves, you turned around and you had a huge following behind you that believed and like wanted to hear and wanted you to speak. So it's like, you turn around like, hold up, like I don't even need to talk to these people no more.
And and when you realize that, and then you start understanding the power of the influence, the power of being outside, the power of this camera. It's something I could say right now that Joe Biden can see if it gets shared enough.
Right.
Like you never know. Like I don't think we take social media as serious as we should. I think if you still posting on social media, yo, outfit because you got a nice body and you not finding a way to have somebody pay you to wear their clothes on that nice body, you don't understand the concept of social media. You don't. Social media is a chance to build a community for you that feeds you. It's so simple. I think most artists lose because they're trying to get the labels to see them rather than focusing on the people.
Focusing on your customers.
And
right?
by the way, and I did all of this independent, focusing on your customer. I did all this independent. Like I'm independent. So I'm like with the company.
Yeah.
I self-funded this myself. And and what Tiff said is right. Like it was like I felt like God, and there's so much more to the story, but I felt like God was trying to get me ready for something. And I just wasn't trying to be ready for it because it wasn't my plan. It was like, that's not my plan, God. This is my plan. And God was like, no, stay right here. So every time I thought I could go over there, I would wind up right back here. So it was kind of like, you know what? Let me just like being here. And once I accepted I like being here, it was like things that I'd never imagined started happening out of nowhere. Like, damn, oh, wow. And it was like, damn, okay, I like this little space that I'm in right now.
Because I think we want to have so much control in our life around things that most of the time we don't have control over.
Yes.
And so when shit starts hitting the fan and we're like, oh my God, like, what do I do? And trying to find our way back to where we were before. And like we've mentioned this before, that like when you lose your job, your identity is so wrapped up into what you do, your career every single day.
Your friends.
That's who you are.
Your
Like,
friends, your peers.
Yeah.
Like, that's who you are.
right.
And then when you lose your job, because we lost our job in last year, at the beginning of last year, we got laid off. And we were like, what the fuck
supposed
are we
to do?
going to do?
And then who am I now? Like, and now I don't associate with those people. Those people don't associate with me. Like, you feel like everything starts losing. Like, what the hell?
And then you also start realizing how much time you gave. And now you have nothing but the time that you worked and paid the bills.
Yeah. Right.
So, but them bills going to be around till you die.
Right.
So that job need to be around till you die. You need to make enough money to where that's not a problem. Yeah.
And everything that you sacrificed for that.
Yeah.
Your family, the time that you could have given them, that you gave your all to that company.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. I was watching the NBA game, and I heard a song that I did for Warner when I was there. I heard it being played in the arena. It's like maybe like 2 months ago, and I remember I was like, "Damn, I'm still making the money," but I'm not making nothing from that. Then you have me, who have people who I've actually signed, who I'm making $50,000 a year from. And I never have to talk to them again.
Yeah.
So it's like, so you start looking at it like, well, yeah, that's sexier, but that's mine.
Right.
And as long as that somebody owns that's not me, I'm never gonna benefit from that like I would benefit from mine.
That's right.
And that's why so even now it's like, man, I can't imagine someone telling me there's no job you can offer me right now that will take me from what I'm doing. And the only reason why is because if you gave it to me, you could take it from me. And what I'm doing is mine. So if you have a problem with me doing what I'm doing, which I think can help any job because I'm online talking every day. Nigga, all it takes for I've been online for 2 years, almost 18 months talking every day. And I haven't had one bad story about me.
Yeah.
So that means that I gotta hold myself. I can't afford to fuck up. Because if I fuck up, all it takes somebody to say, this dude is a liar to kill my credibility.
Right.
And I can't afford that because I built it. So that's why I think they don't want to do business with me, because I'm going to call them out if they fuck up. Y'all not going to fuck my name up because y'all snakes. And sometimes I think you should just be a snake in the face. Be like, yeah, I snaked you, and here's why. Rather than being a pussy and hide behind the closed doors hoping it goes away. Fuck that, man. I'm a man. I stand on mine.
I love him.
I stand on mine.
You want to go?
Yeah. So dealing with artists and like in their interactions with their fans can lead to like increased loyalty and long-term success. So like, how do you think those positive interactions?
Hold on, say it again. I want to hear the question one more time.
So
I want to know the question I'm asking.
how does positive interactions with fans and artists can lead to increased loyalty and long-term success?
Oh, good question. I think that you have to treat, for artists, you have to treat your fans like you would treat your family. If you don't, you're gonna have problems because all fans are active. Fans are a verb. They're action. And I believe that if you don't treat your fans like they're your family and film it and show it, it's 150,000 songs being uploaded today, y'all. We could easily find another person to support that's not you.
Right.
It's not like it's only 100 now. Now it's 2 million. So it's like, I'll just go to you. Like, dog, like we could forget about anybody. Like, Drake can't
Instantly.
afford to take a break.
Right.
He's Drake. He can't afford to take a break. Like, nobody can take a break in today's world. And if you take one, you better make sure you film it and send them that you're on your break and show them what it look like.
Well, so what are your thoughts around like Doja Cat and what she was saying? She had like tweeted that one thing, like she's like, I don't know, y'all, like I don't give like.
Well,
but it's like
Doja Cat is a unique person. I think I personally, I haven't had any personal interaction with Doja. Obviously, we got a couple of records. We did a couple of singles on her, but Doja has always just seemed like the person that's gonna do it her way. Like, Doja Cat is like Prince, and other artists are like Mike, right? Mike was like playing the game. Prince was like, I am the game. Mike got to the top of playing the game, and Prince got to the top being the game. So I feel like Doja Cat is just one of them artists where if you fuck with her, you know that that's who she is.
Kind of, they just expect it.
That's your expected. So if you left, then like it goes back to what I said earlier. Do you want a real Doja fan? Because that's who she is. This is the same girl that said I'm a cow. Like, not no disrespect. She does, like, you know how much balls it takes to say, bitch, I'm a cow. Like, it takes balls. That tells me she doesn't care what y'all think. And that's why I think she's one of the biggest stars in the world. You can't care what people think, but you got to be your authentic selves. Like, some people in history are known for being bitches. Some people in history are known for being assholes. Donald Trump, I think, well, everybody that will call him an asshole, even people that vote for him. But he's a necessary asshole to them.
yeah,
And they're okay.
They're
with
not
that.
trying to say he's a nice guy or he's not, like, you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, everybody has a role in this world, and super serve your role. Doja Cat knows who she is. She's super serving that shit. And that's
And
why
I
I
think her
work.
fans will probably be like, okay, she said she doesn't like us, but we still love her. So
But
we're
not,
good.
but not only that, we also forget to factor in the fact that she's mixed. She didn't grow up in a house with her father who's black. So there could be a lot of like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't factor in who people are before they got to us.
Right.
And we also got to give them a chance to change because they might want to figure out who they want to be. I think everybody in this room is trying to figure that out. Like, what's the best version of myself? There's nothing wrong with that.
well, it's like the artist development. Like,
Yeah,
like
it's
they develop more once they are, they're in the limelight. They try to figure out who they are, like who they're not, all that other stuff. So, like, I mean, I agree with that. There's just sometimes where I look at the stuff that she says, like when she was tweeting, like, well, I don't give a fuck about y'all. I don't know y'all. Like, but I'm like, but those are the people who are like putting money in your pocket.
If you know
right?
her, well, those are the people who will also put money in your pocket if you act the way they want you to act. So that's still a form of control. Like, to me, like, if I wasn't being authentically myself right now and I was this person for you guys, but I was really someone else, then that would be way different. But I just think she's being herself. And I think that the people that know her. Like, dog, Beyonce, when the last time we heard her talk?
I was just thinking that the other
When last time we heard Beyonce say a word? I mean, I'm talking about like not at the Grammys where she won an award, but just her saying something. Dog, that's not the brand. And she's the biggest in the world. And then you got somebody like Kanye who says everything. That's the brand. And he's still one of the biggest in the world.
Right.
You can't, you know what I'm saying? So I just tell people, be this version of you that you love the most. And you'll be fine.
That's good advice. That's good advice.
All right. When it comes to navigating artistic vision, how can A&R teams communicate better feedback that aligns with the artist's creative intentions?
How can the A&R communicate feedback to the artist, or how could the artist A&R communicate the artist's message to the world?
To the artist.
Okay. Well, the first thing you got to do is ask them what they want, right? So let me give an example. Like, I come in here right now and I'm like on this health thing, and I'm like, I work out every 5 minutes. That's what I do. I got to do 100 jumping jacks. And I'm like, all right, come on, y'all do jumping jacks. And y'all like, we don't want to do no damn jumping jacks. I know y'all can say that. So what do? I come in and I ask y'all, are y'all working out? Are y'all into this? Oh, you work out? Cool. Hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. You want to try it with me? And now people are like, yeah, I'll try it with you, because I made it an exercise. I made it fun. When you working with artists, you got to understand that part. Like, ask them what they want. Like, a friend of mine who's an A&R for The Weeknd told me that on his big album, she tells a story about how he told her, and by the way, this is Weeknd being The Weeknd. He's selling out small arenas or whatever he is at this time. And he said, I want to be a global superstar. And he said, I want to sell 5 million albums. And the A&R said, well, if you want to sell 5 million albums, you need 3 #1 global singles. So now when you're making the album, I could go back to that mirror. Tell me the 3 global singles. And he didn't have it at the time. So he was like, so they had to go back and make it. And they did. And he wound up getting it. He wound up selling 5 million records. So as an A&R, the relationship is, I'm here to serve. What do you want? Where do you want to end up on this album? And if that's where you want to end up, here's the things that it takes to do to end up there. Now, if you don't do those things, you didn't really want to end up there, because if you did, you would have did those things. So you kind of got to give people a chance to show you who they are, and then show them how to be the better version of who they are or who they want to be. That's how I did it. Like when I was working NLE Chopper did it his way. Like, he liked what was going on. So I'm not going to stop his formula. But if he came and said, man, I want to be as big as Drake, then that's when I was like, okay, I can show you how to do that. But I'm not going to show you how to do that if you don't want to, because then now I'm being a dick. Now I'm the overzealous A&R in the room trying to tell you what to work with people. Now you are tweeting, my label's trying to make me be something I'm not. Nah, I want you to be everything you want to be, but I got to know what you want to be. And the problem is that nobody have vision no more. So nobody knows what they want to be. Everybody just kind of like, what you think I could be?
I know. I can be that. Just tell
I could
me.
be that temp. It's like, nah, what are you? So for me, I'm just being me, and it's working.
So when you started out in the industry as like being an A&R, like did you feel like, or did someone tell you like, oh, you have to have these skills, or like this is how you talk to people, or is it like this is Ray, like you didn't have to curate
every A&R job I got, they met me to meet with me about some writers or producers I had, and they offered me a job on the spot. Every job I've ever had, I got offered on the spot. That's why I didn't know how to go out and ask for one. Because I just stepped in the room and they was like, you. That's why I started talking to them. I'm like, well, that's how I got my job every other time. Let me just do it this way. But I don't think that the industry liked it. But I don't think they understood it, which was okay with me. But that means that they're not paying attention to the audience, which is also a telltale sign of why the game is losing. No one's paying attention to the people. They just doing what they want to do. It ain't about me, my nigga. It's about them. Yeah. Let's give them what they want.
Well, what would you say, just like looking back, what are some like key takeaways that you've learned over the years of being in like a leadership role?
I think the most key takeaway is that you can't lead people somewhere that they don't want to go. And a lot of my problems was another reason why I'm so excited, because the one thing that I didn't have on my resume that I knew I needed to have a voice was a superstar artist or artist that was broken, that was managed, right? Because when you manage a superstar, every door is open to you. Everybody answers your phone calls. And I figured once I get there, I can do everything I want to do. But I just started giving up faith on meeting a superstar, and I became my own version of it.
You're already the superstar.
And I love it. And now I got artists around me mad, like, oh, he only cares about his podcast. What are you talking about? I film 1 day a week. I got everybody that work for me. And I'm talking about music. What are you talking about? But it's because I passed them. It's because they feel like I left them behind. But I wasn't leaving anybody behind. I was just trying to demonstrate the act so you could do it.
No, you're being the mirror.
That's what I thought I was doing. But no, that's what I mean by it amazes me how many people don't pay attention. Like, you like that girl, right? But you didn't even find out, you didn't even look at her style. You ain't peeped her jewelry. You ain't peeped nothing about her. You just like her.
Right.
So how you gonna get her?
Right.
You got to know what she likes. You got to pay attention to her. You got to study her. You got to study the game. You got to study anything you want to do. You got to study it. And if you study it, you'll be fine. Learn and apply. People don't do that though. And I don't get it. It's weird to me because it's like, we don't have no other choice. Either do it or don't do it. But if you don't do it, you ain't do it. Remember that.
It's only yourself to blame.
So you have your podcast, The God Show. It's wildly successful, and I know you even had Joe Budden on there. And how do you
And Dame Dash.
and Dame Dash, but how do you make sure that you're getting your point across, right? Because you have a bigger than life personality.
I've really been paying attention. That's crazy.
Like,
Okay,
It was hard to get your point across to Dame Dash.
well, okay. So here's the thing. So the first 15 episodes of the show were like 15, 20-minute episodes where it was just me talking. That was it. The first real episode I shot was me and Nick Love. And it was actually called So You Want to Be in the Music Business. It was me and Nick Love shot a show. And then we put it up and it did well. It was like, here's the first show. And then my team was like, yo, that shit it's getting comments. We should really do the show. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then Nick just got the job. So I'm like, fuck, Nick's not available like that. So I'm like, just put a camera on me. So I started answering questions. And then I knew there's a real thing when they say sheep and wolves. There's a real thing. I am a wolf. I cannot help it. It's who I am. And 97% of the population are sheep. Like, it could be a mob about to attack somebody. I'm not going with the mob.
yeah,
I'm in the mob trying to figure out what he did. Because if he killed somebody's kid, but what did he do? Do we know for sure? Yo, because we about to kill him. Like, has anybody asked him? Like, do we have proof? You understand what I'm trying to say? So it's like I don't go with the mob. I am a true alpha male personality. I do what I want. I do it my way. And I don't care what anyone has to say, because if I did it their way, I'd be working at Delta right now making $75,000 a year.
it's true. No. And what I was telling Tiffany before you came, I was like, Ray just has this like dominating personality. Like,
I don't look at it like, I don't try to be that though. It's just I'm not
you. It's
but
just
you know what
you.
it is? I'm not moving unless I want to move. I'm not doing something unless I want to do it. And I think that all people should be like that. I didn't realize that it took balls to move when you want to move.
It does.
Like,
Some people
Because
just
people
don't
are
have
scared
balls,
because
though.
a lot of people are so worried about what people think of them.
97%.
So they're like, I can't be me. It's too scary.
Well, a lot of people move out of fear. Like,
But I'm afraid. Like, I'm afraid every day of my life. I'm afraid. Every day of my life. I want to make y'all understand this. I am scared to death. I don't like, we know how someone that drives Martyr for 30 years, we know how it ends. They just drive for 30 years, their last bus ride, they do something special for them. They may put a certain amount of money to the side and they just go chill. We know, I don't know how this plays out for people like us.
right.
This is happening in real time. Like, where do podcasters go to retire? Where do A&Rs go to retire? Where do we go? Like, where do we go to retire? So the scary part for me, and which also makes me so alert, is that I don't know how it's going to end. So I can't enjoy it like I would. Because I'm like, how does this end? So I kind of had to like let go a little. I'm like, all right, I'm going to enjoy this much. So I I never use drugs, but I take edibles every night now. And the reason why is because it does two things. The first thing it does is I have insomnia real bad, and it helps me sleep. And the second thing it does is it takes my mind off of whatever I was thinking about that day. Because the obvious reason why I can't sleep is because I'm thinking about everything that was going on.
Right.
I sleep perfectly now. So it's like, but I'm doing it my way. And
you don't seem like you'd be the type of person to be in your head a lot.
What?
But you are?
I'm in my head every day. I'm in my head about everything I'm doing. I'm always in my head. I'm just not afraid of it.
You're not ruled by that fear.
Fear is the most natural thing we all feel, right? We all grew up. None of us were born as adults. We were scared of our parents. We were scared of our ass whipping. We were scared of something. We were scared to get in trouble. Fear is a part of life. I just used it as a tailwind. It's not a headwind. It don't slow me down. If I feel fear in my body, I run to that thing, because whatever it is, I got to get it. I got to conquer it now. Like right now. Like it's crazy stuff. Like this morning, like I put drops in my eyes, lumify my eyes. And I'm like, man, I do that when I get out the shower. Then it's like, why are you holding it on if you're going to do it? So that was me this morning. I was like, fuck that. Put that shit in my eyes right now. I don't care. Because I'm like.
The Ray in the mirror was like, put them damn drops in your eyes.
It was just, why are you putting it off? It's right here.
Why
are you putting it off? It's because you don't want to do it. That's why you need to do it. So if I don't want to do something, I run to it because I need to do it. Because the only thing that's holding me back is my mind. Like, there are people who with the same ability as all three of us that are living the most incredible lives. It's just, they're not afraid. I'm not afraid to do anything. I'm not afraid to go back. I'm not afraid to do anything. I'm not afraid. And that's the only thing that I really use to my advantage. But outside of that, I'm scared every day, man. Like, I got kids. I want more. Like, there's so much shit. And I'm like, you don't know what this world's going to be. We don't know what podcasting going to be. But I do know how to go big. And I do know the concept of entertainment. I know that. So I'm like, okay, cool. I know what I need to do. So for me, it's like, I focus on what I need to do, not what's going to end, but I'm still scared to death. The most scariest person you know.
Well, we are super happy that you agreed to come on the show today. Yes. And I know, I did want to ask you one final question. Just like in the next 5-6 years, where do you kind of hope to be? Like, where do you hope to see Ray Daniels at?
Man, that's a good question. I'll tell y'all, because it's y'all. I paid attention to Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey was a comedian who wrote a relationship book. What does comedians know about relationship books? He also is a game show host. He's almost like America's Black Father. He's like America's Black Father that blacks like, because he doesn't code switch when he talks. And I was like, man, I feel like I could play that role in America. Like, I could be like the black voice that black people lean on and other races go to, because I don't take anything personal. I was just telling my publicist a story about when I walked into a room full of people, white people, and they were laughing about something. I didn't know what it was though. And I was like, I came in, and then when they saw me walk in, they just stopped laughing. So of course I'm like, what y'all was talking about? And they was like, kind of looked at each other. There was like, Ray, can we ask you a question without you being offended? And I'm like, of course.
Shit.
And by the way, this is right after, this is literally 2 days after Nipsey died. Mm-hmm. So they was like, Ray, of course they do the roundabout. They don't come direct because they don't want to offend us. So it's like, Ray, first of all, Nipsey Hussle, right? Like, he was like, do you know any of his songs? And then a couple of people like smirked at the table, and I was like, nah, I ain't gonna lie, I don't. I know like 3 or 4, but I don't know it all. And then they go, you know who Tom Petty is? And I'm like, of course I know Tom Petty is. He sings, and I'm free falling. And they was like, he died last year. I was like, okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I know, because no one talked about it. But Nipsey, who no one knows his music, everybody's talking about him dying, and we can't understand why. I could have easily been offended. I could have easily said, fuck y'all white folks. They my friends. I don't think that they are laughing at us. I think that they got concerns like we got concerns. They just like, we want to ask y'all, but we don't want to piss y'all off. Like, y'all might want to ask us. So I broke down there. I was like, Nipsey, when you're young and you're black and you're from the hood, it's certain things you're told to do. Like, invest in your community, employ people in your community, get you one girl and love her really well. Like, love her, like, be about your family, like, be like, and everything that they tell us to do, he did. Mm-hmm. And he got killed by one of those people in front of one of those shops that he invested in. So I'm like, how many young black kids are going to be afraid to do right like Nipsey did? That's why his death matters so much. That's why we're making a big deal out of it. Yeah. And I was like, and I think his death is more impactful than Tupac's. What? I was like, I could tell you why. We knew Pac was going to die. Shit, Pac knew Pac was going to die. Yeah. Nipsey died in front of his shop trying to help somebody. That's the worst way to die. Right. Point is that I educated them, they understood it, and they probably won't laugh at that no more. So I always feel like I'm the guy, whether it's Dear White Executives, whether it's that conversation, whether it's my podcast, I'm the guy that says, I know how we were taught to look at it, but let's give it this angle. How do you feel now? And I noticed that I was changing people's minds. So my ultimate goal is to like just leverage my influence, and because of my influence, go in rooms that I couldn't get in and do things that I want to do. Like, I mean, Donald Trump changed the world. I know his name is like weird to say in the black community, but Donald Trump changed the world. He literally changed the world. He is a celebrity, and none of that mattered when he went for the president job. Right. How many times we look at somebody running for president, we're like, what about their wife? We look into everything we need to know about them. Every Trump filed bankruptcy, multiple wives, kids, fucked up shit, and they still voted for him.
Right.
That tells you that the people are tired of the system.
Yeah.
They're tired of the system, and he broke it. And I was like, I could do that. I can break this music system. I can be Trump of music, and I feel like I've gotten there.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited about that. So my answer is I don't necessarily know, but I do know that if Beyonce woke up today and said she wanted to do country music, she can. If Beyonce woke up today and said I want to move to Africa, she can.
Yeah.
If Jay-Z woke up today and said I want to run for president, he could. So I'm just building influence that I can leverage for whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. That's all I'm doing. Whatever that is, I'm cool with it.
I love it.
Yep, I love it too. Well, that is the end of our episode today. I just want to say thank you to you for coming on.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Like, follow, subscribe, do all those cool things that we wish and hope that you guys do when you listen to us. Because
I want to say we did hit 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! Congratulations!
So, that feels good.
I know.
We take our wins when we get them.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna go look at y'all YouTube page and give y'all some game.
Yes.
Thank you.
I got even when I say that when I started my show, I know you guys went to this. YouTube tells you on average it takes every channel a year to hit 1,000 subscribers and hit 4,000 watch hours, which is how you get monetized. So they kind of say, congratulations on your journey to monetization. And usually averages about a year. I did that shit in 40 days.
Wow.
And it was like, I got it so fast. It was like, and so but I am a consumer, guys. I'm a consumer of pods. Like, I am a avid podcast watcher. Like, I'll listen to podcasts more than I listen to music.
Like, can you name like 3 or 4 of like your favorite?
Oh, for sure. My favorite one is this one called Business Wars. It's a narrative. And what they do is they tell the stories of competitions between companies. So like the first one I looked at was Netflix versus Blockbuster. And then the second part of the season was Netflix versus everybody. But they told you how Blockbuster worked, why Blockbuster lost. They tell you how they got one where they do Sony, PlayStation versus Xbox. And then they tell you what Sony's strategy was to beat Xbox and how much they cost. And they lowered their rate. Basically, they stabbed themselves and let blood come out so they could shoot up, hoping that they'll get, by the time they get to the top, they can breathe.
Right.
So they tell you that. So that's one, how I built this.
I like that one.
Guy Raz is another one. I love Joe Budden. I love Nori. Love Nori's. And I love Gillian Wallow. I love fucking A Horrible Decision. Like, I'm a podcast.
Oh yeah, I just started watching Horrible Decisions.
But I'm a podcast fanatic. And I'll just tell everybody, don't be afraid to start one. Podcasters are the new rappers. It's really simple. Like,
Yeah, Tiffany, we are the new rappers.
podcasters are the new rappers because that's how they view rap. Like, podcasters aren't the new singers because singers got to have talent. Rappers don't. They just got to be able to make a good song. So if you're a podcaster, you don't have to have talent. You just got to be able to find a good angle, stay on it, talk about it, and boom, the world is yours.
Got this, girl.
Man, we've got so much knowledge from Ray today.
Thank you so much again for coming on.
No problem.
Yes.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all to your team. Very professional. And I'll come back anytime y'all tell me to.
Oh, okay. We'll have you on next
Oh, matter of fact, why don't y'all come on my show?
Yes.
Would you really have us?
Would y'all should come on my show and co-host a show with me, because obviously I got rid of my host, so I'm like, I'll be looking for people to help me. But come sit on the couch and next week and do some interviews with me, because I think I got like 3 or 4 set up. But
Love to. I'm there.
yeah,
I'm
come
already
anytime.
there.
Come anytime, and then that's how y'all can talk about y'all joint. We talk. I mean, bro, like I am not a hater. I love us. I want to see us win. And the only way us win is if us help each other.
right.
So for me, it's like, I don't even look at it like I'm more or I'm less. I'm like, I got a different audience than you. You want to talk? Okay,
Right.
cool. You got a different audience than me. You want to talk? It's really, but here's the crazy thing. I would talk to y'all if we wouldn't have cameras on and a mic in front of my face.
Yeah.
We had the same conversation.
Right.
That's why it works. Not like we trying to force it. So Ray, yo, it's like, Tiff, you know me. As you know me. Like, y'all know me. What the fuck is up? Talk to me like y'all know me. There it goes.
Well, I look forward to being on your podcast next week.
I said it on record, by the way. Y'all come next week.
Yeah.
I'll connect with
I'm
Jack
there.
and
I'm
y'all
already
come
there.
there.
We're there.
Cool.
All right, y'all.
Awesome.
That's a wrap.
See, we got it on camera. Let's get it. If they don't show up, it's on them, not on me. I'm 9 minutes away from here, right here.
Oh, are you?
I'm off Miami Circle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right by Pasha.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's get it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did it.
Good show. Y'all are good. Y'all so professional with y'all cue cards and shit.
We didn't have those last.